Hello. Thank you for watching the Autism Goes to College, our podcast. I am Lindsey Washington, and now I am a junior at Appalachian State University in Boone, North Carolina. I'm majoring in communication sciences and disorders with a minor in digital marketing. Last time I was on the show at the beginning of my sophomore year. Now I'm taking some of the most challenging courses of my major. We'll talk about how I'm doing with that. And I've been on the dean's list 2 times. I'm still living in the dorms. I spent last summer on campus, and I'm still growing my followers on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. I'm here with Catherine O'Brien, the host of Autism Goes to College, and I am going to hand this over to her. Take it away, girl.
Hey everyone, I'm so excited to have Lindsey back on. She has such a sparkling personality and I cannot wait to hear all the updates. Just for fun, let's start with Halloween. You posted a little bit to Instagram. There was some Perry the Platypus action. How did that go?
Well, it was so interesting and so much fun because I was trying to think of something related to my childhood. And as you guys saw, or if you guys didn't see from my social media yet, I was Perry the Platypus for Halloween from Phineas and Ferb. And it was so interesting, even just walking into my classroom because I was dressing up that day for Halloween. And I even went trick or treating with some of my friends that live in the same dorm as me. And we had a really good time.
That's so fun. So it sounds like you've made some social connections in the dorms. And last year when we talked, you were definitely trying out different clubs and exploring the social scene. Are you still involved in clubs now as a junior?
Yes, I am. And some of the clubs that I am involved in include InterVarsity Christian Club. And it's a club where we discuss about our pros and cons of the week. And we do small group Bible study. And Neurodivergent Student and Allies, which I did get to decide to go back and join them. And we talk about like more awareness and what it's like to be neurodivergent. And also the National Student Speech, Language, and Hearing Association. And that is more tied into my major. And we get to talk about different disorders and how to treat different patients.
Yeah, and you're networking within your field, within other future people who will be speech communication professionals. I'm getting to probably.
Yes, and also people that have been in my major classes as well. I would hang out with them. But the social life is still a work in progress. I have joined a couple social events this year, such as going trick or treating, and I also have been to a couple of the football games here. And that has been a lot of fun as well.
Yeah. I'm curious because I do remember that when we spoke last, you had checked out the neurodivergent student clubs, but it just like hadn't really clicked. So what changed? Did you just go back and try again, or was there more to that story?
So I wanted to give it another try, and plus there are more members that are in the club, so there are more girls and there are more boys. And I just realized I just need to participate in the club that not only can I just feel relatable to other people that are neurodivergent and that could possibly have the same struggles as me going into college and other issues.
Hmm. Yeah, that totally makes sense. And, by participating, I bet you also have the ability to shape the club into more of the space that fits you.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been going to a couple of the meetings for each club, but it also has been hard because I have a very full caseload. I am taking 4 major classes and one of my minor classes this semester. But one of the things that I would do with the Neurodivergent Student and Allies Club is that we would discuss about different sensory spaces on campus. So trying to place those in the student union or more the
Mm-hmm.
library and more buildings. And also we were talking about like neurodiversity and health, which I thought was really interesting and something that I never even heard about before. So I thought that was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, neurodiversity in healthcare settings is very important, and how it impacts our holistic health is a growing area of study. So I'm glad you're learning about that. Um, just backtracking, since you're getting into your major classes, to refresh for people that aren't up to speed with your story, how did you choose to major in communication sciences? And like, is this sensory spaces bit informed by that major choice too?
Not really, but the reason why I wanted to go into this major is because I have experienced speech therapy myself because I got
Mm,
diagnosed with autism at 3 and right afterwards I got speech therapy and I really liked what my speech therapy did with me to help me communicate and utilize skills that I need for daily life and to navigate, such as analytic skills and social life, to help me be
hmm.
successful in school and to be able to join other social activities that other peers that I've been wanting to desire for so long.
Yeah. I mean, it's so much more than just making sure that you can talk and articulate your words, although that's definitely something speech pathologists are great at. Yeah, it is
Yeah, for sure.
transformative and empowering to build those skills. So that makes sense. I did want to know more about the sensory spaces on campus, though. What types of things are they working on, and how are you involved?
So they are working on things like beanbags and a little bit of sensory lights. So they would
Mm-hmm.
have this little container and it's full of water and there will be fishies and jellyfish flying inside of that container.
Mm-hmm.
They also have other comfy chairs that people can sit in while they study. And also in one of the study rooms at the library, there will be beanbags in the chair in the room and then a comfy desk and a comfy little like sensory with fishies and
Mm-hmm.
jellyfish. And the ways that I am involved in that is that I was able to give feedback like, hey, I really like this. I would like to see more of this. Like, for instance, I would like to see like more like sounds, like have a little speaker and have more sensory sounds like a waterfall or birds
Yeah.
chirping in the library room. Although it may be distracting to some people because the library is just mostly a quiet space for
Mm-hmm.
everybody to study. But I think that'll be really cool to add.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have been involved in a similar project here at UC Riverside. And one of the things we talked about is having the space be able to be divided up because, people have different needs. So some people might prefer very dim light and some people might prefer very bright light to help them stay alert. And both are like valid sensory needs, but they kind of can't coexist in the exact same spot at the same time. So it's so interesting to just learn about what's going on other campuses. And I'm encouraged that multiple universities and colleges are working on these spaces for us. Um,
For sure. And it's also very important to utilize those sensory spaces because I know that it has helped me to be calm and relax while I'm studying. Also, another thing I would have to say that they should improve on is providing more sensory toys, like fidgets, like more
mhm.
balls and needles for the
Yeah,
room.
weighted tools like weighted balls, lap pads, pillows are great too in that regard. I have a lot of thoughts about
Yeah.
sensory equipment and how we can ensure people have access to it. So thinking about your major classes in communication sciences, I know that there's a lot of intensive course load for the communication science major. Can you
It
talk to us about the
is.
class schedule and how you're managing?
Of course. So, just to give you guys a little bit of an overview of the class that I'm taking. So, I'm taking neuroanatomy and physiology, and that's basically a class where we get to talk about the normal human functions of the brain versus what it looks like when it's abnormal and the different type of disorders that is associated with it. Next, I'm taking acoustics and speech science, which is relating to like phonology and phonation disorders. I'm also taking audiology, which is focusing on the anatomy and physiology of the normal human hearing versus abnormal human hearing. And I'm also taking language disorders in children. And it's get where I learned the different like normal communication within language domains and then abnormal communication and
Mhm.
the type of disorders that are associated. And then, as one of my minor classes, I am taking Principles of Marketing, which actually has been one of my hardest classes. And that is
Yeah.
because we are learning a lot about analytics that are utilized for marketing to make sure that your business is standing out and that you're standing out to your target audience.
Mm.
But my two
Mhm.
favorite classes right now are neuroanatomy and I really like language disorders. And one of the ways that I do try to manage all of it is that I would work on some subjects one day. Like I would work
Mhm.
on at least three. So, for instance, today I may work on neuroanatomy, I may work on acoustic stuff, and audiology stuff if I can try to fit that in. If
Mhm.
I cannot try to fit three subjects in, then I would try to just mainly focus on two. And then so on, like the other day too, I would try to, okay, work on language disorders one day and try to focus on marketing. But it's also very hard because most of the times during the weekdays, I will be focusing on my major classes because my major classes are already taking a bulk of my time.
Mhm.
And I would try to focus on my minor class during the weekends, but I try not to like do that now, especially with it being the end of the semester, which is so hard to get
Yeah.
motivated. And
Yeah,
by the
it
way,
piles
it's
up.
completely normal. It does. It definitely piles up.
Yeah. So, have you found any strategies to help with the classes that are harder this semester? Because it does sound like there's just a lot of work and a lot of complex content to master.
For sure. So, what I would do is that I would try to utilize all of the sources that are on campus and try to talk to most of my classmates for my major classes. And if there's anything that I'm confused on, I would mostly communicate with them. And I'll
Mhm.
also go to office hours with my professors and ask them anything that I need help on.
Yeah, I really love office hours, and I do find it helps to go in person if you can so that you can, do the problems out together or things like that. Have you connected with classmates as well in terms of, having study groups and things of that nature?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes we would study together in the library to prepare for the upcoming test. And the way that we would do that is that we try to communicate the material out, and the classmates would either tweak the information or the way that I'm interpreting it to make sure it kind of aligns with like the objective. Or
Yeah.
I even do the same thing for them. I try to adjust what they should say and say, okay, like you got this right, or you're very close, but it's actually this.
Yeah, so you can fine tune each other's understanding. And I think there's also a lot of benefit to teaching something that you understand a little bit to get a deeper understanding. That always would help me a lot when I was studying in groups. How are the interactions with professors going? I know you're going to office hours, and last time you said you always introduce yourself at the beginning of the semester. Is that still going well?
Honestly, it has been still going well. Sometimes it does feel a little bit nerve-wracking because you are by yourself with the professor. And sometimes it can feel weird because you're with a stranger, but otherwise it has been going well. It's nice to kind of talk to them about like how you're enjoying the class and also research opportunities, which is one of the things that I am
Hmm.
starting to look into this year as I'm getting closer to graduation now, which is absolutely crazy
Yeah.
because I'm about to end my first semester now and I'm going to go into my second semester pretty soon. And then after that, I will be a senior. And so I'm
Hmm.
trying to look for internships that relate to my major, or if not related to my major, then my minor. I have
Yeah.
looked into my school's clinic because my school does have a speech clinic. and they get to work with different kids and different adults there. And I
Hmm.
am looking into one day observing just to kind of see what it's like.
I think that's a great idea. I actually am now on the other side of it because we have undergraduate research assistants in our lab and clinic. And we also, like, I teach and have office hours. And I have to say, professors love to work with students.
It
I'm glad that you're
is.
showing up. I bet that that's valued by your professors.
For sure. And one of the main things that I would do in all of my classes is that I would try to sit in the front and I would always participate.
Yeah, that's a great way to both help yourself stay engaged and to demonstrate to others that you care about the material.
Definitely, because caring about the college material and making sure that you are understanding the different concepts is very important.
One of the main reasons we're there.
Yeah,
Not to say that all of the wonderful things that happen outside of class in the dorms, that doesn't matter, but the classes are really the core of the degree. Um, can you share some highlights and if you're comfortable, maybe some lowlights or tough moments since we last talked to you during sophomore year? I bet there's been a lot to talk about.
oh my gosh, of course. So, first of all, I have made it on the chancellor's list for 2 semesters, and I'm so
Woo,
excited.
woo.
And then I stayed on campus this past summer, and I finally got my first job, y'all, on campus. So, the second semester of my sophomore year, I was working at one of the dining halls that's not that far from my dorm. And I was cleaning and wiping down tables, and I would work there 3 days a week. And then I was staying on campus over the summer, and I was also working at another dining hall, but it's not so close to my dorm. And I was working there 3 days a week as well, 72 hours, and I was still cleaning and wiping down
Wow,
tables.
you were busy.
And I was so busy. Love that for me, you know?
Yeah,
And
I
also,
mean,
it was nice.
hopefully it's rewarding both in terms of confidence and in terms of money for work.
For sure. You know what? That's actually the best part about having your own job is getting your own money. And most of the
Hmm.
time I like shop and then I put most of it in my savings.
That's wise.
Also, yes, for sure. I would say some of the tough moments I've had during my sophomore year is still the social life,
Mm.
trying to define the difference between who is a friend and then define who is a classmate, and also trying to balance a social life and a personal life and the academic workload. And
Yeah.
also another main highlight is that I finished my Gen 8.
Oh, nice. So that is a great step on the path to graduation. Congrats on that.
Thank
Um,
you.
wow. So you've been busy, and I bet, staying on campus this summer helped with the independence and this, connecting to opportunities.
For sure. And I would try to manage to come home every other weekend like I would do during the school year.
That's wonderful to stay connected. I'm curious more about your research interests. What are you hoping to do with research? And, does that connect to maybe what comes after graduation in terms of work or maybe even grad school?
Yes, I would love to talk about that. So I am looking into grad school. I am looking at specifically the speech pathology program. I'm going to do
Hmm.
that for 2 years. And after I graduate, I'm going to go straight into it. And then after graduate school, I am planning to try to find a clinic or whatever setting I am placed in to work with kids and adults because that is something that I am really passionate about. And some of the research that I'm interested in doing is about neurons because in my neuroanatomy class, we've been
Hmm.
learning a lot about the neurons and how they transmit from like the spinal cord to up to the brain and like the different parts of the brain. So I really would love to study that. And I would also love to study different language disorders as well. I would like to study about developmental language disorder a little bit more, dyslexia, ADHD, and also
Yes.
Down syndrome.
Yes. Okay. So lots of things that speech language pathologists, which is what you aspire to be, can help with in terms of giving people pathways to success. I think that's really inspiring. And I love that you kind of want to come full circle and give back to the profession that helped you when you were little.
Thank you. And then I'm also planning to still continue doing my social media and growing my social media. I do want to start creating my own business one day. I have been thinking about
Ooh.
that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
of making like some jewelry, making some t-shirts, kind of representing the Lindsters family, because I
Mm-hmm.
kind of want to expand it even more, and even selling hoodies, and
Yeah.
even have like little phrases like "Peace out, Lindsters." I
I
think that would
can
be so
see I
cool.
can see it. Yeah, and I feel like that really connects to your minor and to your what you're studying. It's all like connected to your passions, which I think is super inspiring.
Thank you.
Do you have any like tips or thoughts that you want to leave our audience with now that you're kind of in the second half of your undergrad career and really succeeding, it sounds like in a lot of ways?
Sure, I do have plenty of tips. You guys got this. I know this end of the semester can be very tough for everyone, as it's hard to find
Mm-hmm.
motivation. It has been hard for me. So remember to give yourself grace and take it each step at a time, or take each day by day. And also enjoy every moment, whether that's like a late night or early day studying, or even the social events, because college genuinely does go so fast. So make sure to just soak it all in.
Okay. Well, congratulations on the many types of success that you've had, Lindsay. I'm so happy that things are really going well at Appalachian State for you. And hopefully, maybe next spring we'll be taping a graduation episode.
Yes, please. That'll be so fun. Oh my goodness. And also
Okay.
be sure to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm on my way to 500.
Heck yes. Check her out, people.
Yes.